I'm looking at boxing. I'm looking to get into boxing in 2018. I'm just out talking to everybody right now, seeing what's going on, what's out there, what's available, what people's interests are. And I'm going to figure out, in the next couple of months, how I'm going to get involved and what I'm going to do. I don't know at what capacity, or I'm just checking everything out right now, and I'm meeting with everybody. And yes, that would be my goal. If I get into boxing, I would look to put on the biggest and the best fights possible, and hopefully make some matchups that people want to see, whether it includes, Mayweather or whoever.
Let's just be clear here. Floyd gets killed in MMA,
right.
and I think even Floyd knows that. And we're not talking about, I've made no mistake. I've been very honest about it. I'm getting into Boston. I want to get into boxing, and in 2018, the next couple of months, I'm meeting with everybody from the boxing world, and I'm meeting with Team Mayweather too. Anthony Joshua, the heavyweight champion from England, I think he's the most marketable fighter in boxing right now. He's a good-looking guy. He looks like a heavyweight champion. His last fight with Klitschko was awesome. Listen, if you can make a fight with the Klitschko's exciting, you're good.
So Dana White is a really smart man. Of course Dana White wants to explore getting into boxing. I would too if I was in his position. Because he's seen what Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, the numbers that they got. Unbelievable numbers. Like I said before the fight, Floyd would win. It was ridiculous. Dana White, I believe, in my opinion, he's a really savvy, business savvy guy, really smart. I believe he saw the giant names, the giant super fights that are able to be made. And, there is a sucker born every minute. So if you could sell Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather to people, to unsuspecting fly-by-night MMA and boxing fans, that much money, sell that fight, why wouldn't he want to get into boxing? When I think Dana White wants to get into boxing, he doesn't want to get into boxing for promoting rinky-dink fights. He wants to get in boxing to get Conor McGregor versus De La Hoya 2. As ridiculous as some of these fights might sound, he wants to get into boxing for the big names in fights where a boxing fan would know who's going to win with very easily, like me, a real boxing expert. That's right, I call myself a boxing expert. I believe I have the credentials. They're all here on this channel. 14, 15 fight win prediction streaks, 10 fight prediction streaks, 7. I went on a lot of beauties, and that's just the way it is, and that's what I do. So what Dana White is looking for, he's looking for the fights like John Jones fighting Joshua. Dana White's looking for the fights like a John Jones, who could possibly get up to heavyweight at some point in the future. I'm just giving random names. John Jones versus Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua at some point. Because Anthony Joshua and Deontay, real boxing fans need to fight right away. But if you could sell McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, you can virtually, in my opinion, sell any big name UFC fighter that's hot at the moment with any even washed up boxer. Even Hopkins can crawl out of retirement and fight John Jones or somebody. And there's a lot of suckers out there that will pay big money to see this. But I also think that you would have to go out on a win streak. It would be something like the way Floyd Mayweather was undefeated made it more attractive. So if Floyd Mayweather obviously lost his last fight, that wouldn't have been good. But there's a lot of these big fights out there that can happen. And Bob Arum, really old. Don King, really old. So there's a void in there where Dana White can definitely get into boxing and make a lot of money. Whether argument is boxing is dead, the whole numbers, the UFC does better, that doesn't matter, because a boxer still got $100 million over that for fighting an MMA fighter. So the money's there, the fans are there, the fly-by-night fans, the clueless people that are out there is astounding. They don't know anything about boxing. Go back to my Lomachenko prediction versus Rigo, because I was the one that said Lomachenko would beat Rigo. I also said that Rigo would have no power up at that weight. I also was crucified by a lot of people. Just people finding my channel for the first time without looking at my body of predictions. Can't be right all the time, of course, but I'm right more than wrong. It's just the way it is. And a lot of people were just hating on me for saying Rigo wouldn't bring that power up. They couldn't even understand it. In the first video I made, I said Rigo would have no power. And I assumed everybody was a real deep, real hardcore boxing fan. Any hardcore boxing fan would have realized I was talking about Rigo not having his power when he went up 2 weight classes, especially at his age. I broke everything down. The video's there. I put 5 ways Lomachenko beats Rigo, and I was right. Of course I was. A lot of fake boxing experts out there, they really cannot predict fights consistently, and they get mad at you when they think they know about boxing and you didn't pick their guy. It gets personal, but you know, that's all silly because it's just a sport. Rigo was almost 40 going into the fight. That's not going to happen. Bernard Hopkins is an anomaly. That doesn't happen every day. When there's a fighter pushing 40, fighting a young, proven, upper echelon elite fighter, the chances are he's not gonna win the fight. Sorry, I'm a Rigo fan. I was watching him on ESPN2 when he started getting TV coverage, so I knew he was a brilliant fighter, and he always was. And he quit, let's be honest, but he was almost 40. 37, 38 in boxing is really old. 36 going on 37 when you're fighting a young, elite, fast, unbelievable fighter with tons of amazing athletic attributes, and you're picking a guy that's up there in age, picking a guy that's going up 2 weight classes. Like I said, all this before the fight. Hindsight's 2020. These fake boxing experts, they'll tell you all this after the fight or as the fight's evolving. While they're watching it, they'll tell you this. But I said this all before the fight. So I get my props, you can see my comments. I had to block comments. I was personally attacked. More thumbs down on a video where I was right. More thumbs for saying Lomachenko would win the fight. More thumbs down than up for obvious reasons. Now, all those guys, none of them will come back. They're all crawled away with their tail between their legs like always. And that's just the way some people are. Not everybody, some people. And I just call it like I see it. I'm sorry if you're hurting about it. And get a box of tissues. But anyway, going back to what Dana White is, I'm putting this all together because Dana White sees a huge opportunity. Are you kidding me? MMA guys can throw big names at me right now. And you can throw the biggest name in MMA besides Conor McGregor coming up. There's the Russian guy the other night. Amazing. I don't know his name. Khabib. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I saw that fight. By the way, I predicted Chris Cyborg would beat Holly Holm. I predicted that. Holly Holm's awesome. She did the best game plan she could do. But I digress. I'm just making the point that guy, the Russian guy, if he keeps winning those fights and he's undefeated, 25-0 in MMA, which is ridiculous. That's unheard of. Now, if he just got a little bigger, gets more mainstream, and doesn't lose, or he loses and then wins 3 fights after, or 2 fights, then you could put him in there. I don't know his weight class, I forgot, but you could put him in there with a big name like a Pacquiao or somebody and make that big fight. Dana White is aware of this. Dana White wants that big money. Why not? Some people are like, why is he getting into MMA's not, there's nothing wrong with MMA. The UFC is doing great. Why would Dana White be entertaining to get into boxing? Because he's smart. He knows there's millions there that he could scoop up, grab, put in his pocket for his family. Extra. Who doesn't love money? Why not? Dana, if you want to hire me, I'm available, man. Dana White is awesome for that. Dana White should get into boxing because there's millions and millions and millions of dollars, it's already proven, that are able to be made in the right setting. He'll probably make it, he's probably great for boxing. He'll make it more entertaining. He'll probably bring his own little touch to it. Of course he would, right? Because that's what he said. I could do a lot of things. He watches the shows. He feels that the broadcasts of boxing aren't that exciting as they can be. So I hope Dana White, a diehard boxing freak fan, whatever you want to call it, me, I would welcome that. More fights, more entertainment, a different angle, being promoted through someone else's eyes, with someone else's touch. And you never know what could happen. One thing will happen, he'll probably make a lot of money. So if Dana White gets into boxing, which he should, MMA fans should be ready for that, and boxing fans as well should be ready for possible, I hate to say the word, but it's true, washed up champions fighting hot MMA fighters to see what will happen. Those types of scenarios. And inevitably, if this all works, they'll have a hot boxer who's like a Lomachenko, fight an undefeated MMA guy like the other night, the Russian guy, and they'll get it on and make $100 million each or something crazy, or even let's say it's less than 100 million. Still, there's millions and millions of dollars. There's millions of suckers out there that are willing to throw their money down to see a boxer beat an MMA guy's head off in boxing. Because look, like I said in the Conor McGregor fight, you could take a Conor McGregor, put him in a boxing ring all day. He's gonna lose to a boxer like Floyd Mayweather unless Floyd Mayweather's 55 years old. Because it's a different sport. You cannot put an MMA guy boxing gloves on him and get an elite fight level for both a competitive fight, in my opinion. Now you want to say, oh, it was competitive. Really? Was it that competitive? Floyd Mayweather fighting a much younger guy? I think Floyd Mayweather had that fight down, walked him down, got him tired, knew what he was doing, experience was going to take over. So at some point, we're going to see a lot of MMA guys do this if Dana White gets into boxing versus the boxers, but people will catch on. They'll be like, it's up. The con is up. So now we're going to want to see, a boxer like Mayweather get in the octagon, which is ridiculous. It's vice versa. He would get destroyed in a couple of seconds. Armbar, leg lock, get taken down, pounded out real quick like James Toney versus Couture, right? So it goes both ways. I'm not bashing MMA. I'm not saying anything bad about it. If it's vice versa, if you take the best boxer in the world, like Lomachenko, you throw him in the octagon against even a B- fighter in MMA, he's gonna get beat. The chances are he's gonna get smoked like in 2 minutes. That's the way I see it, and good for Dana White. Dana White get into MMA. Get into boxing, Dana White. I want to see Dana White in boxing. It'll be really good for the boxing sport, really interesting. What could go wrong? There'll be more fights on TV. More fights. Like I said, Bob Arum, he's been around forever. He's a fossil. Don King's a fossil. They can't stay around forever. It's a miracle. It's amazing. I like to see that they're around still, but they're not going to be around forever. When are they going to retire? Don King's already basically retired, but Bob Arum's still active in the sport. So let's see what happens, guys. Dana White, come to boxing, bro. I want to see you there. Like I said, if you need someone, I can talk all day, and I know what I'm talking about. All right, guys. I'll see you next time.